Okay, y'all, I am back. I briefly got knocked off there. So let's play for a little bit more before I start to work today. I'm going to start working on my music again soon. I made some beats last night, or some clips that can be... Actually, I guess it is a beat. You can turn it into a full song. I kind of like the ones I was making this morning and last night than those first ones I made. But I'm not going to go back and redo my songs that I've already made. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with them as they are. And we'll just get better as we go along with that thing. I've had that out for years. Just now figuring out how to use it. A few years. I don't remember exactly when. Let me test my sound. 1, 2. Let me test my sound. 1, 2. There we go. Let's get my phone back on the beat. Twitch.
Arcade.
Okay.
Street Fighter Alpha.
Now, let's begin.
Hey, probably should have just picked the verses, because I didn't know if I was going to stay on that long or not. I'll start playing different characters in this. I usually play the same.
Round 1.
So I get a feel of all the characters. Oh, it does do well. There we go.
Don't hold a grudge, okay?
Round 2. Fight.
I had a recording of that first part, so I'll post the full thing later. And if this one drops, I'll do the same for it.
You win.
Italy.
Round 1. Fight.
There we go. PS5 controller is quieter than the Xbox.
Round 2. Fight.
It doesn't make as much of a noise. Of course, I know you might be able to hear it. I don't know because it's microphone's still on. I'm not hearing it. I'm telling you, I hear that Xbox loud and clear. I like both systems, though. I'm not no either or anymore. I used to be a PlayStation in the old days. But then
You win.
toughed it up and got the Xbox One. I had a 360, but I wasn't what you call a big fan of Xbox until I got my One. But used to, like if I was seeking a console, I was seeking the PlayStation. That was the one I was, like if I was saving money for one, that was the one I was saving money for. That was the one I was looking forward to in the past. Now I'm an either or. Plus I like the Nintendo too. Of course I've always sort of bought Nintendos.
Fight.
Like, when they closed out the Nintendo 64, I got it. And I got the purple one at lunch, when it was GameCube. I put it in layaway when it come out. So I got it at lunch. I got Sega what it closed out.
It can't be over.
The Dreamcast.
Don't hold a grudge, okay?
Round 2. Fight.
The only game player that I was always like really interested right when it first come out was the PlayStation. I sort of got the Nintendo GameCube when they had them. I seen them in the store and we got them put in the away. Plus there's some wrestling games I was interested in.
It can't be over. You win.
Also got a Wii when they marked them down significantly back then. I didn't ever play the Wii much. I got it at Kmart, back when Kmart was still around, so that's how long ago it's been. I eventually just quit playing that Wii. I never did buy any games for it. Other than one, I think.
Round 1. Fight.
I really liked it. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. So I bet you could have turned that music off. I bet you there was a setting to turn it off. I turned off all the noises on the PlayStation 5. I didn't like the annoying. You know when you first got it, it's got that annoying music. I turned that off. It drove me crazy 5 minutes after I turned it on. And I sat and I just found out how to get it off. I was done with that in 5 minutes. Michael was on Xbox and I signed it on the PlayStation today, so I didn't play GTA. It just happened to be the first controller that I was grabbed today. I was going to play some games. I thought, well, before I start today, I'm going to play some games because I didn't do no gaming for yesterday, I don't think. So I thought I'd do some gaming, and the PlayStation controller was the first one I grabbed, so that's the first one I signed into. So that's the good thing about not being a fanboy. You have other consoles at your disposal. Well, I'll play this today. Now, I got to be honest, most of the consoles, they're filled with the same games, but especially if there's those free games, I've got multiple copies. Some schmucks out there booming his head. Like I want to listen to this music. Turn it down, schmuck. They're lucky I'm not in charge. I'd make them tickets hurt. When they got them, I'd make them hurt. I'd make them big enough that they hurt. There's no reason for you riding around you sounding like a concert hall. There's no reason for that. Turn it up to a volume that's comfortable in your car and leave everybody else alone. That's what I do. But I don't like it too loud anyway. He's gonna go deaf. There are people my age that are deaf. And I'm deaf in one ear, and it's because of my own stupidity. When I was a kid, I used to have a bad habit of sticking the pencil erasers in my ear.
You win.
Well, in 1989 April, the eraser head got stuck in my ear. I mean, literally stuck. And it stayed in there till 1991, 90 or 91. I finally got it out. And my hearing, even though I got it out, I never did fully recover the hearing out of that ear. After it stayed in there a year. And the lady in the principal's office that time, she told me, she said, "You're really lucky you got that out." She knew somebody who had to have ear surgery for something. They got out the skin growed over inside his ear. She told me that I was really lucky I got that out after that long period of time. Because one of the persons she knew, he got something in his ear and his skin actually grew over it inside the ear. I just kept picking that sucker over those years till I got it out. Eventually one day I thought, well, I'm already deaf anyway, I can't hear. I stuck some scissors in my ear. And I got it into the eraser. I thought, I got it. And I just clamped them scissors down on it and pulled that sucker right out. It hurt while I was pulling it out.
Very difficult fight.
Boy, I got it out.
Round 2. Fight.
But it stayed in there from April '89 until that time. It was either 90 or 91. It's been so long ago I can't remember. You're talking about 30 plus years ago. Like even if it's 91, it's already 31 years. I never did fully recover that ear. But I'm noticing there's people my age that's acting like old people. What? I'm nearly 50. Uh-oh.
The battle continues.
I don't want to close this yet. I think I'm going to switch characters to characters I'm comfortable with. One do I know? I was trying somebody different, but different don't always work for me.
Be on guard.
Round one. Fight!
I've got no choice!
Dang, he beat me again.
It's not because you stink. It's because I'm awesome!
Round two. Fight!
Go enter a drag race or something, you schmuck. Leave regular people alone. Nobody wants to listen to your freaking engine. Go the hell on. People live around. Stupid schmuck. Why don't you go join a racing competition?
Honor father, big bro will
Leave
do his
human
best.
beings alone.
9. Fight on.
Try again before I get out of here for the day. Well, I got different choices outfits here. Oh no, I can't get those. They're not in my access. Okay. They usually don't even let me see them. Let's go back to the one.
Be on guard.
Japan. Round one. Fight!
You don't know why he never enter a race because he lose. That's why he's got to be out here riding around like a schmuck.
I've got no choice!
Oh, by the way, I'm going to have enough beats to continue making recordings even after I'm done with the album.
I hate you!
Not yet.
Or at least some selections that I could choose from if I want. Right now I'm making them, I think, I like that one. Yeah. I got some of them, but I'm not sure what I want to do with that right now, but I like how it sounds. So I'll put it on the back burner. That's the way I do it.
I've got no choice!
But the awesome part has actually been able to tweak and make rock and roll ones. And if I ever get good enough, the app that I'm using, you can actually use your own clips as well. Right now I'm just using what's there because I'm learning this thing. But you can go use your own clips. So I'm hoping to get better over time. Because that's one thing I can do. I can program drum beats and stuff on keyboards. I've always been able to do that since 1988. So I may eventually start incorporating some of my own stuff in there as well. Right now I'm just using what's in the box, but I'm making stuff that's suitable for me, and I'm thinking about going in there and even tweaking it some more and adding
Round
some
one.
to it.
Fight!
I can do anything on Kazoo lately. I'm trying to figure out how to play full songs on Kazoo, but I haven't figured that out quite yet. When it comes to my own stuff, I can usually do my own stuff. Especially my own parts, but I'm going to have to go in and add that as touch-up, because I only got 8 tracks. And I pretty much use all my 8 tracks to give my music a rich sound. So I would have to go back and put those back as the overdubs. But I will do it. But I think I will archive my overdubs and archive the version without it. That way I can go back and redo things if I wanted to. I think I will do that. Or an archive my video. I used to have a program that you could take the kazoo and turn it into this. I don't have it installed right now. It's still guided, I just don't have it installed. But you could actually go in there and kazoo something and turn it like a guitar or whatever you wanted. I had a MIDI sound to it, but you could do it. Is that people? I wasn't even finishing. I just did this song. I'm not going to join any more rank sets until I get some more skills, though.
Fight!
I get my butt kicked when I'm against people. Because I usually do it. I never was good at playing with others. I don't play with others much. I didn't have a... In the 90s, I was isolated. When I didn't even have the internet. I got gameplay, so I wouldn't have no contact with people at all. Tell you the truth, people make fun of that, but that was tranquility. I look back to those days as great days. I didn't have to put up with smart asses. The only time I ever put up with anybody was when I was out. And that was short, or when I was with my family, and that was my family, you know, so I didn't mind that. I'd probably go back to them days, but I can't because I've done gotten used to another life. By being online and stuff. But before I had online, I was just to me. That way for years up until I got out, from I got out of school to when I got on the internet, I was isolated. So if I seem weird, that's the reason. I isolated myself. I kept myself away from it. No contact. But you know what? It was pretty. It was beautiful. You didn't have no conflict.
You win.
With yourself within yourself. Like if something was bothering you, like you didn't feel good or something. There wasn't no conflict or anything. For years. I was that way for years. Then I got on the internet and everything changed. I didn't have no reason to be in society, so I wasn't in society. I couldn't work because I was disabled. So I just cut myself off. People make fun of that, but there was peace and tranquility in that.
Round one. Fight!
I mean, you're talking about a long time, 91 to 2000, it was a whole decade. The time I left school, to the time I got on the internet, I was isolated. No contact with the outside world. It's the end of the world, and we know it. It's, you know, it's kind of like that guy in the video. He's got that shaggy dog by himself. I know people will make fun of me for saying this stuff, but it's true. I mean, I think about it now. I was pretty much isolated. The only time I saw people was my family. We'd go to Christmas parties and they'd drop by the house, or we would go on vacation. That's the only time I wasn't isolated. And even then, I isolated when I wasn't out at the food or the be at the bar room where they had that little part at the bar where you sit out or sit outside the room. If they didn't speak to me, I didn't speak to them. If they didn't say hi to me, I didn't kind of communicate with nobody. Now, every once in a while somebody say hi to me, I'd say hi back. How you doing? I'd say I'm doing fine today, but no contact. Little contact with people. Little.
Final round.
So if I seem like I'm isolated online, that's the reason. I'm used to not having to. I'm used to it. And it's not that I'm being mean or I'm being rude or I'm ignoring you. I just, it's the way I am. Now you know why. I pretty much was away from people for whole decades. Now online you see people every day. You might not know them. You hear from them. You see their posts. Somebody's making it, or whether it's a robot. You might just be knowing a robot if they're not even a real person. You know what I'm saying? But you're seeing something.
You win.
But I have more contact on that online than I do in life, and people can make fun of that. But that's just the way I roll. That's the way I work. So I don't really do too good with competition when it comes to people, because I didn't have a whole lot of friends that played with. A lot of times, sometimes my sister, me and her would play games together. We used to play the wrestling games together. Other than that, I don't have any contact with, like, you see these pictures of people with their game players and they're sitting on the couch and they got their friends and there's popcorn on the table. That wasn't me. I was a lone gamer. She's gonna beat me. And if she does, I might challenge her again for a couple, but I may have to get off it. I want to get some more done. I got some beat I want to loop
Don't hold a
together.
grudge, okay?
Round 2. Fight.
People were assholes to me at school anyway, so I didn't really care whether I had anything to do with them. I had a handful of friends. And out of most of those handful of friends, I can only think of one or two that didn't ever steal nothing from me. They would always say, I had a steal from me sign. They'd steal my stuff. So I just lost distrust in people. And some things that happened in the past with family members. I never trust anybody as far as I can throw them. And it's not that I don't like you, I just don't trust them.
Fight.
I often tell about my mama's brother, who looked just like Elvis, on my podcast. He went out with his 5 friends and got murdered, killed. We don't really know what happened. We guess he got killed, but the guy sort of told us what happened. And then when we had the investigated open, he recanted because it's all old men. Some of them are already dead now. The one in particular that was accused, he's gone. He's gone. He must not have been a friendly person either, because he didn't have... I won! I didn't pay attention. I got talking again. He didn't have that good of an obituary. They didn't say much about him. When they don't say much about you, that means you must not be that good of a person. Yeah, he was a split image of Elvis. And I'm going to tell you, he did. Because Turnbuckle hired this guy. He's a good Elvis impersonator. He's one of them that goes around the country. He's a big one. And when he walked in the door, I thought, I'm seeing my uncle for the first time. No, wait, I'm seeing Elvis. He even had the freaking shoes on that Winston wore in his, his name's Winston. He wore in his pictures. He had his shoes on. The shoes, the shirt. He wore those. He looked just like Elvis. Splitting image of Elvis. What I call the real Elvis. You know, there's a movie they call The Kissing Cousins. There's a blind Elvis. And there's a black-headed Elvis. My mama's brother was the black-headed Elvis. In the movie, you know, I'm not talking about Elvis as like, whatever his name is. I hadn't watched it in a long time. I watched it one time. It was years ago. Whatever his name is, he was the dark-headed guy that Elvis was playing. And Elvis was the blind-headed guy till he died at dark. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
For playing.
People laugh at me when I say that because they think I'm trying to say, oh, he was the real. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he was the real kissing cousin of Elvis. And he did look like him. I didn't tell my mother till the next morning. And I waited. I didn't even tell her the next morning. I'm going to tell you what happened. She told me, she said, well, I enjoyed his show, but he made me sad. He made me think of my brother. And I said, well, you want to know something? I didn't tell you this. When he walked in the door, I'm seeing my uncle for the first time. Moving. Because I didn't meet him. He died in the 60s. I didn't meet him. But when he walked in that door, I saw my uncle. Because he was him in the pictures. We got several pictures of him. We got one where he's lounging. That's where you see the shoes. He's laying back in one of those line chairs. You know, the ones that lay out and they sort of got little like belts through them, and you can see like squares and their belts. And he's laying back. He's got his hands on his head like this. He's got his shoes kicked up. That's when I saw the shoes. I guess I got a picture of him with my mama. And that's how he looked when he walked in the door. He was in color, and he looked just like that guy in those pictures with my mother, which is my uncle. But he was playing Elvis. So he really did look like Elvis. I'll see y'all later. I'm going to get off here for a while. Yeah, I didn't tell her that I felt like when she told me she was sad that she seen him because he reminded her, that was the entry door. Because, you know, I never met him. So that's amazing that I thought the same thing when she thought the same thing.